Welcome back, everybody. In this clip, we are going to be inking our hero's arms. I'm going to be starting with the hero's delts, his shoulders. The reason pretty much is a simple one. We've already laid out so much of the pec, and I kind of like to go in order. I do know that from time to time I jump around, and if I jump around, it's because something has caught my eye, and I know that it needs immediate attention that and the attention that I give it will help the piece move along and flow better. But when we're at this stage, yeah, there's a couple things I could jump back in on the head and the torso, and I'm going to be doing that later on. But I wanted to make everything kind of flow a little bit tighter for everyone here. So for me, right now, I am putting all my attention in on the delts. As I'm inking, I'm keeping in mind, like I did with everything else, the shapes of what I'm inking, the graphic elements, the design that I ultimately want the black ink on this character to look like and feel like. It has to be something that catches our eye. So every line is really important. Now I'm moving down actually from the delt to the biceps and the triceps. I'm keeping in mind kind of how the shadows will be cast from the light source that's in my head on the illustration. I'm not killing myself trying to make these unbelievably crisp lines, but I am putting down fluid lines that I'm hoping will help capture the dynamics and the power of the hero. I'm not sitting here laboring over the absolute crispness and the integrity of every single line because I do view the illustration when it's completed as a whole. I try not to sit there and dissect every single element, but I do give every element the attention that I know it deserves. Now I'm rendering a little bit of the hand. I've already thrown in the forearm, giving slight indications of folds in the costume, shadows cast on his brick like hands, little bit of accentuation on the knuckles. And for the most part, I would say that this arm is pretty complete. Now I'm going to be moving on to our hero's next arm because, he has more than two, right? But I'm going to be moving on to our hero's left arm and adding the shapes that I know are needed. The shapes obviously are going to mirror each other because they are uniform, but you'll notice slight differences in how I cast the shadows, how I'm rendering it, how some of the feathering will be going. And part of the reason is you don't want to create an image that is so static and balanced that it's boring. Like I said earlier, the piece has to be visually attractive. It also has to draw the viewer in. And that is part of the reason why I make sure that my lines have slight curves in them. It adds to the dynamics and the energy of the piece. I'm also making sure that not everything is exactly the same and even in the balance, because at that point, you just have something that looks cookie cutter, unoriginal, and kind of lazy. So make sure that when you create your piece, you breathe life into it. And when you're inking, keep it fluid, keep it loose. If you make it too hard, too static, too tight, you will choke the life out of the drawing. So do everybody a favor, keep it loose. Don't choke your drawing. Keep it full of energy and life. As I move forward with the inks, I'm always thinking about the shapes, the visual interest, the depth that I can add, the weight to the line, the quality of the line. making sure that I respect the pencils that are beneath them that I drew, but I'm also not a slave to them because this is now another form of the art, another form of the craft that has to have its own creativity and also its own uniqueness represented. It is part of the process, and it's a part of the process that needs to be respected just as much as the pencils did. We're zooming out a little bit, making sure that everything's got that nice clean shape, still has the energy, and has visual interest. So far, so good. We're lightening up the layer, taking it away, and we're pretty much on target. Everything so far is moving pretty smoothly. In our next clip, we are going to be inking our hero's legs. I look forward to seeing you guys there.